welcome back to the Fandomentals podcast, where we talk all things related to sports from a fan's perspective. This is an opinion based podcast. If you don't like our opinion, I do not know what to tell you. Appreciate everybody joining the
Hmm.
podcast. Please like and subscribe if you're watching. Follow our shorts, follow TikTok, follow our Facebook, all of that. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Pretty good, pretty
Doing
good.
good. Doing
Good,
good.
good. So we were having the conversation about the All Star game, the All Star festivities. One of the topics I wanted to talk about was the All Star weekend, but not only that, like Pro Bowl weekend, and All Star games in general, and in all sports. For the most part, I mean, I guess basketball and football and Major League Baseball would be the primary ones for us. I've never watched any All Star games in any other sport.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what soccer would do. Well, I've watched hockey, but
Hmm.
hockey's a little different. The way they do theirs, I actually what they do, but in general, overall, I would say the most important one, in my opinion, is baseball, and it's just because of their circumstances with who wins. With the NL
Hmm.
and the AL, and the home run derby is also like one of the better events when it comes to
Hmm.
All Star weekends. There's nothing like it, in my opinion.
Right.
Uh, we could have made the argument for the dunk contest
Yeah.
25, 30 years ago, but that is not no longer even an argument. It is by far the home run derby. Nothing tops that. Not the 3 point nothing tops home run derby for me. Um, and in terms of, with this weekend being All Star weekend, I think in terms of the expectations of the dunk contest, our standards are so low now that, um, yeah, our standards now are so low that it doesn't even matter. So, first of all, what I get, I'm. It seems y'all share my opinion in terms of the home run derby being the most important. What would y'all say is y'all's favorite event out of all things?
I'll let you take that one, Gary.
Okay. Well, the dunk contest used to be my favorite.
Right.
I um I mean, without the dunk contest, we wouldn't know who Spud Webb is, we wouldn't know who Rex Chapman is before, he got all famous on Twitter. And guys like Larry Nance. I don't know when they brought the dunk contest back from before it was with an ABA competition.
Larry Nance
Larry
Senior, for the people
Larry
that
Nance
Senior,
Senior,
excuse
yeah,
me, Larry
yeah,
Nance Senior. Yes.
yeah. When he had the back and forth with Dr. J, back in the '80s and
Hmm.
stuff, and then of course the when Dominique Wilkins and Michael Jordan, that famous slam dunk contest when they went back and forth, and Gerald Wilkins and all the stuff he used to do, and then even superstars like Dwight Howard when he was putting on the
Hmm.
Superman cape
Cape.
and
Yeah.
all that stuff. I mean, and now the the, the they let G leaguers compete for it and stuff, and it just doesn't seem like anybody that's relevant at all, takes it serious. So my favorite has switched from the dunk contest to the home run derby because, it's just fun to watch guys hit bombs,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and
For
and
sure.
that's yeah. So yeah, so those two are really cool for me.
I would probably have to second that same motion. I mean, it's always been the dunk contest, and you seen. I will say you could see what the impact of not having the dunk contest ends up being, because
Yeah.
when they got rid of it for those few years back in the early 2000s or something like that,
Hmm.
All Star Weekend was not the thing to watch at all. Like
Yeah.
the dunk contest has always kind of had that. This is the main event of All
Hmm.
Star. What you call it? And nowadays, it has lost that luster. It lost the luster just because stars don't want to do it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
saying? When you had the stars doing it, it was something to watch because it's just like, okay, this is people that we know. Now they showing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love seeing it. I've always wanted to see the stars show out. It's cool to see some
Hmm.
of these young cats get their shine,
Sure.
you know. And I do appreciate it, but some of it just like it used to be about the stars shining out during the dunk contest, and now it's like you don't even get that anymore. And it's done changed so much. Even now, I'm almost like I never been to big 3-point contests, but now I'm like I was more excited trying to watch the 3-point than
The dunk.
the dunk contest. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm
Wow.
saying? But I haven't watched a home run derby in a long time. But I don't watch baseball like I used to, so I don't even really. I mean, I never really was a big baseball watcher, but I used to watch Ken Griffey's and them. I used to love. I still do. Would love to watch the home run derby, especially um nowadays. And then how y'all said the All Star weekend for baseball has changed over the years. I'm interested in actually what the All Star weekend looks like, or the All Star game and stuff looks like for baseball.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then, of course, football. Once they started changing the rules up in football and they couldn't really hit and all this other stuff, football's a joke. Their All Star Pro Bowl is a
Yeah.
joke. Like the
Yeah.
Pro Bowl games, I think they tried a cool little alternative to flag football and all these things and make it a little fun or whatever. But it's just that it doesn't even have not even a little bit of the same flair as it used to back in the day. Like we used
Mm-mm.
to watch the Pro Bowl, and I understood, it was hard to watch the Pro Bowl because it ended up being after the Super Bowl. It's not a meaningful game. People didn't, but I think people tuned in to watch it more back in the day. But
I always watched it. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
did.
now since they changed the rules, and of course I understand they don't want people to get hurt, things like that, and then the placement of the Pro Bowl is so weird. It's right before the actual Super Bowl. Nobody's really
Yeah.
watching it because
Yeah.
it ain't nothing to watch. It's nothing to really watch with the Pro Bowl now.
Hmm.
It's like it's not exciting. Once they took away
Hmm.
hitting and all that stuff, it's not exciting anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but overall, dunk contest has always been my favorite. I still watch the dunk contest. I'll just be hoping that somebody's gonna be able to show up and show out in it, and I hope one of these dudes
Trying to the
decide
dreams. You're still
to play.
dreaming.
Yeah, you still dreaming for
Sure.
some of the stars to get in there and
Yeah.
do something. It's like I don't need all of y'all to be there, but give me one or two. You know what I'm saying? At least.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah.
that was my biggest hope for, I guess you could say, like the new or the next generation of NBA players, that some of them would take the reins and say, hey, we want to be in the dunk contest. Um, no knock to LeBron, but LeBron, I think for him it was, he didn't want to lose the dunk contest on national TV. I think in his mind that affected his brand, right? Um,
Yeah.
and I could be wrong. That's just what I think. I I believe though that it kind of does a disservice to the fans, because that was one of the
Hmm.
things, Gary, as you mentioned earlier. That was one of the things, man. You saw Jordan and Dominique Wilkins and Spud Webb and Dwight Howard and Vince Carter and
Vince Carter.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean Vince Carter put on a crazy show.
Hmm.
Steve Francis, Tracy McGrady,
Oh,
like
Yeah,
yeah.
we
that was a crazy one.
right. So
Hmm.
um we've seen like important players start, players that we know be in the dunk contest and put on a show. And I
Hmm.
would love to see the next generation do that. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I I kind of feel like they're going to take a page out of LeBron's book, and look again. It's no knock to LeBron. He took the path that he felt was best for him to not do it, but
Yeah.
obviously for a while he's been one of the main faces of the league. Just
Yeah.
like
20 years, yeah.
yeah, and
Hmm.
so for him to not ever have done it in all that time, that kind of set the precedent for the other players to say, why would we do it? Why would we go
Yeah.
risk losing in front of all these people and mess up? Um, and I don't even think it would mess up brand deals, but
No,
in maybe in their minds they believe it will. It won't. We're not. You could go ask um any casual fan who lost the 1986 dunk contest. They're not gonna be able to tell you, but you'll know it was. You'll remember it was. I remember it was entertaining, but you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a knock on your on who you were as a player if you don't win. You
Yeah.
know, and I think that's what's been the hardest thing for me. And I hate to sound like I'm blaming it all on LeBron because there's like surely other players that could have been in it. I mean, you could you could say John Morant should have been in it a couple years ago.
that's I was gonna
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
suggest
Him,
him.
right.
Zion.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there's several other players that could have been in it
Hmm.
that didn't do it, right? So it's not just LeBron.
Although
And
Zion been injured, so I understand why he didn't
y-
do a lot of
he's,
it.
Sure.
but even Zion, I'm not giving him a pass either because what was it? Not last year, but the year before, and he doesn't play in the game, but then he goes and does a 180 reverse dunk
Mm-hmm.
windmill,
Hmm.
and before the game. So you can do that, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So to me, that's not a how many games has Damian Lillard played this year?
None.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we just watched him compete, and
Yeah, but I will say it's a little different with the 3 point than it is a dunk contest.
yeah,
Let's just
very true,
just, just
very
let's
true,
just be
very
honest.
true.
It's a
No,
different. It's a
no, I
different type of impact. So,
don't
but
disagree, but we were watching Zion pre-game dunk,
yeah, I mean, yeah,
yeah,
true,
and
true.
not
I
playing
mean, yeah.
games. So
That's why it's like we've been watching LeBron layup lines all these years do fancy dunks in the layup line, but you won't even go into a
right,
dunk contest.
right,
You
right,
Hmm.
know, like I said, it's not all on LeBron because just some of these stars just don't want to do it no more.
yeah,
Like one of the ultimate ones that they said could have they was trying to get working was Vince Carter, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, try to get all them into a dunk contest. Look, man, it's just like just do it one time, at least
one
for the
time for the one
fans,
time.
and that's my problem. It's like the All Star Weekend is for, yeah, I understand it's for y'all to kind of have a little casual rest and relaxation, but it's one way for you to really connect with your fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's the key right there.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
That's
you
it.
supposed to be out there to try to connect with your fan
man,
base. Give them something that they've been wanting, man. Like,
that was so
just
special. Yeah, that was.
yeah,
I
that's
mean, man,
Hmm.
that was must watch TV.
Yeah,
And
and that's what we missing with some of these
yeah,
sports.
that's
Is like that's all we
mhm.
want. Just give us something for us to enjoy because we
We're not
understand.
hard to please.
yeah,
Yeah.
Really, really, really not. Some of these kids might not ever get to see you again
Yeah.
up close and personal or whatever. Like take the time out to give him. At least Giannis did a dunk contest and he ain't even no dunker. You know what
nope.
I'm saying? Like not
He
like that.
tried.
You know?
No, not like that, but he
Yeah.
tried.
So it's just like yeah, but yeah, at least he gave it an effort. It's like we ain't asking
Hmm.
you to win this mug. We just want to see you do something.
Yeah,
Right.
Hopefully you win. I mean. I'll root for you if you got hops and some skills. I'm gonna pick whoever I want to pick. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But
Right. Right.
like, and my thought process would be like, go back to the eight dunkers or six.
Yeah.
You can go at least increase it to six. Give me at least two superstars, and then we can have a bunch of you know, you know what I'm saying, some up and coming rising stars or whatever. Just give me something
Sure.
that's gonna make me want to watch. And because you gotta understand, there's an aura that comes with a superstar name.
yeah,
Hmm.
Like.
Yep.
Even if it isn't a great dunk contest, you say LeBron James is in the dunk contest. How many people watching?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure. Yeah.
Everybody's gonna tune in to see LeBron do something because
Yeah.
they're gonna be interested in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be
Sure.
a blemish on your records if you lose. I mean, some
Nothing.
people might just like anything, it's gonna always have some criticisms if you go out there and you don't do a good job. But we've seen Jalen Brown do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He did it a few years ago. He lost it. He had an embarrassing dunk. But how many
Yeah.
Yeah.
people actually talk? How many people actually talk about that dunk?
And you know what? I didn't even think about it till you just mentioned it, and I saw it, but I didn't think
Yeah,
about it till
I
you just
watched it.
mentioned it.
Nobody's thinking about you and how you perform. We know and how if you perform good or bad. We seen T
Yeah.
Mac in it. He was a low. He lost the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Steve Francis lost. They lost to Vince Carter.
Yeah.
What they're gonna talk about is the show that you put on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it's something classic, you're gonna put on. If it's trash,
Hmm.
the whole event's gonna bomb. It doesn't matter who's in it. They're just gonna be like, "Well, that was a terrible dunk contest," and then they're
Yeah.
gonna move on about their business.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know, we still talk about Levine and Gordon.
And
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That was a good
Yeah.
one. That was a good
That
one.
was
That
a
was a
that's
real
been
good
one
one.
of the greatest ones we've seen ever. Like
Yeah.
their battle was elite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or
Hmm.
what's the boy when Victor Oladipo it was doing
Oh
his dunk
yeah.
contest?
Yep.
It- but it's just like just put on a show. That's all you there for.
Yeah.
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 That's what we asking when it comes to the All Star game. Just put on a show, not no
Hmm.
crap show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a great,
Yeah.
Compete.
yeah. Yep.
Compete.
Compete.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like when we look at, I guess when you look at like the NBA and you look at the NFL and sports in general, the level of competition. I don't want to say like the level of competition has decreased, right? But it is very much like it strikes me as the same passion that we saw 30 years ago is not there. But it's kind of it's hard to say that because it's still growing, right? Like both NFL and NBA are growing. Like they're billion-dollar companies, right? They generate so much money. The NBA grows every year, like, and I think a lot of that has to do with China and in these professional leagues in other countries. I mean, you go to
Yeah.
how many professional leagues are in Europe and in
Oh
China
yeah.
and in
hmm
all these
the international game is grown.
right,
Yeah.
exactly, and so that in itself helps, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
with the NFL, they are now playing in other countries and
Mm-hmm.
and
Sure.
and,
Trying
and
to expand their
expanding. They're
reach.
playing in Mexico,
Hmm.
Brazil, Germany,
Hmm.
Yeah.
London, Spain, and that's helping to grow things. But on the on and maybe I'm looking at it wrong from a different lens, but it seems like the passion of the players are kind of, it's not that they don't care about the sport, but they care about themselves more, which is fair, I guess. It's a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, like,
They out
so
here making business decisions.
right, they're making business decisions. You can I listened to something the other day, and they said go watch Kyler Murray play. Like over the last two seasons, go watch him play, and
Mm-hmm.
all he's done when he did play was try to avoid injury. He plays like somebody that just doesn't. He's just strictly trying to avoid injury. He's not really like playing to win. It's just he's just really watch him, and he's playing to avoid being injured. First of all, you can't go play like that because that's exactly how you get injured, right?
Yep.
Like
Hmm.
that's a dangerous way to play. You got to go play the game freely, because if you're thinking about getting injured, you're not thinking logically about the game. So that puts you in situations that puts you in harm's way, in my opinion, right? And so if 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 certain people see that and feel like that, well, they're probably going to have the perception that there's a lot of players that are playing that way, right?
Yeah.
And that could be hurtful to to that player because people don't believe in that player. You know, the people are
Hmm.
like, yeah, he's not in it. I seen, I don't know, did y'all see the interview with Kevin Durant where he was like, how you gonna say I don't care? Have you ever seen like Luca and them, like seeing how
Mm-hmm.
much they how much they
Yeah.
care?
How
Like,
much they care? Yeah.
yeah, you know, like do you say that they don't care? You seen how like nonchalant
They
they
don't play
play?
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so that shouldn't be a conversation, right?
It really
When we're
shouldn't.
talking about these sports that are supposed to be competitive, and yes, it is entertainment, but it's also competitive. Um, and for people to have the thought that these stars are not passionate, well, that does something to us as fans, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
now we've built the illusion that to maybe younger generations that these players don't really care about the fans. They just kind of out here. You know what I mean? And that's, I think that's the problem I have. Obviously, you know, we have the big TV deals with these different sports and things like that. But from me as somebody that's grown up watching these sports and loving these sports and playing these sports as a kid and in school and all of that stuff, you have a certain uh, passion for it and love for it, and when the inkling that I feel that there's a certain player that doesn't care or he strikes me as not being passionate about it, it does make me feel some type of way. And
Mm-hmm.
but it's so, because it keeps growing. So when I make the argument that, man, it's hard for me to watch this player here, I don't feel like he trying. The commissioners and all these people are like, well, the sport's growing, so it doesn't it doesn't force anybody to really look into it to make sure that these players are giving it their all.
Right. Right.
You know.
And not. Yeah. I think you done hit some of the nails on the head on that. I mean, and I believe that money then got so big to where business decisions is easy to make nowadays. You know, back in
Hmm.
the 80s and 90s, you weren't getting these type of deals that a lot of these players get nowadays, and it's just like, I hate to say it's money, but some that's where a lot of them are placing their business decisions on. Like, I don't want to get injured because I want to make the bag the next year or whatever, you know. And I understand that, but like the mentality has changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the mentality thing to me. Is a lot of these players, like you said, they don't. I don't think they. I think they have the passion to play, but I don't think they have the passion to actually put on a service for the fans. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Their service for the fans is, yeah, I'll sign some autographs or whatever after a game. There are a little meet, some endorsement things, things like that. You know, that's me giving back to the community or whatever. You know what I'm saying? To the fans or whatever. We might do an event or whatever. That's how I'm looking at it. Not saying that I'm right because I don't know, but when you're looking at like the All Star Weekend or something like that, that is your like that is a great
Well,
opportunity for
that's
you
the
to truly
opportunity. Exactly.
give back. Like, put on a
Hmm.
show for the fans. That's what
Yeah.
the fans
Show
are
them.
paying to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Show
I'm not
them.
going.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
care
like,
about this.
yeah, literally just I want to watch a good movie. I don't want to watch. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just out there and you put on a nice little act, but then when you on the court, I'm looking at you like, y'all ain't even giving me a good product to watch.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
just meet the players. I want to see y'all perform. This is y'all the best in the world, and y'all are giving me lackluster content.
Yeah.
I,
Well, and
I
I think it's important to also shoot some of that at the NFL
Oh yeah.
because I
mm-hmm,
mean, I think they're the worst
they
when it
are.
comes to their Pro Bowls and their All-Star games now. Because I mean,
For sure.
in the NFL,
They,
they're just
yeah.
playing flag football,
Yeah.
and they don't even want to do that. I mean, Shador Sanders was selected to the Pro Bowl because so many quarterbacks declined to
To
play,
do it.
you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's nothing against Shador, but I mean, now he's got Pro Bowler. in his resume, and that
Yeah,
Right.
shouldn't even
Yeah.
happen. You know,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
he played
Agreed.
in 4 games. You know,
Agreed.
and they don't even want to play a football game anymore. And I
yeah.
don't know. It just yeah, the NFL. I mean, I don't even know why they do anything in the
Yeah.
NFL anymore.
NFL absolutely should just shut it down.
They're the
They
worst.
Just
are literally the worst.
yeah.
All Star, Pro
Yes.
Bowl,
Yes.
anything. It's the worst. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not even a
Ju-
product worth watching.
And it wasn't like a ton of players were getting seriously injured before. The
no.
only injury I remember was when they did that stupid flag football game on the beach and the New England Patriots rookie, I can't remember his name, he like tore his ACL.
ACL. Yep.
Yeah, but they weren't even playing football, you know?
Yeah.
And like you said, Adrian, when you're playing at half speed, that's when you
Hmm.
get hurt, you
Yeah.
know? If you don't, especially that level
Yeah.
Yeah,
of competition, if you're not playing hard, you're gonna get injured.
Yeah.
yep,
So you might as well do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
you know that I remember some really good games,
Oh
really
yeah.
good Pro Bowl games back in the day, you know?
yeah.
And it's just a joke now. I remember the first time, and going back to the NBA, the first time I ever remember watching an All Star game, it was when Isaiah Thomas won the MVP. And that was, you know, before he was winning trophies and stuff with the Pistons. And he
Hmm.
was just playing his tail off, you know?
Yeah.
And
They,
that pride, you know,
yep. I
that
was about
just,
to say they play with a lot of. They played with a lot of
ah,
pride back in those
so
days.
much, you know? He was so, you could just see the smile on his face
Mm-hmm.
when he lifted that trophy. You know, the littlest guy on the court was the best guy on the court that day, you know, and that was amongst literal giants, you know, and figurative giants, because, you know, that was against the Johnsons and the Birds and
Yeah.
the Kareems and stuff. And
Hmm.
where is that, you know?
Yeah. Well.
It's not the same passion anymore to me.
That's what we're missing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're missing, and I feel for all these young fans
Yeah.
because they're not going to have those memories
Not. Nope.
when they get our age and stuff, you know, of all those great moments. And because like you said, the All-Star games are about the fans,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
and the players are letting them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just in the
Well.
beginning, if you just look at it, you know who it's for,
Yeah.
because the fans vote you into it.
Yeah.
And we remember it, you know, and we have these memories and we're reminiscing about it, you know, here
Yeah,
40 years later, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And you know the big thing is, you know, Gary, you mentioned the young fans. They're not going to have the memories of these All Star games, you know. And we have so many memories. I mean, so many memories of All Star games, even Pro Bowl games, you know.
Hmm.
And I think where that's where the in terms of the sport, we can say that's going to make the sport suffer, but the reality is with all the technology, it's not
Yeah.
hurting the sport. So again, that's why nothing is going to be now. I will say at least both commissioners in the NFL and NBA have tried to do other things to make it
yeah.
engaging. Like they've
I
Sure.
tried,
will say that
right?
they have tried.
They've
Sure.
given
Sure.
efforts, and
But
and
the players
and
had to buy in. Yeah.
yeah, they've given efforts, but the
Mhm.
players have to do their part.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The commissioners can only do so much, and I've seen people blame the commissioners. I'm like, hey, well, what do you want them to do? They've tried
Yeah.
different formats.
Yeah,
The But the players, essentially, it's up to them. They
yep,
have to put on the show. They're the ones that
Hmm.
are out there.
yep.
That product can't be delivered without them, right?
Yeah.
The commissioners can only do so much, and like you said, Gary, with the NFL, it's bad. Like they don't
Yeah.
even. I don't even. They shouldn't even do anything. Just give us a red carpet event of awards and funny moments and stuff like that. Just give us that. I'll sit and watch that versus I will. I'll sit and watch that versus watching any pro football uh,
Yeah,
All Star
Yeah.
thing.
yeah.
I
The Pro Bowl
yeah,
is it's just terrible. Like
just
I
shut
said,
it
they
down.
tried. They tried. You know what I'm saying? The all Pro Bowl games. It was a try, but
Hmm.
to be honest with you, if they want something for the Pro Bowl to at least give something for the like, I don't mind the competitions that they did. You know what I'm saying? Like
The
the
little
Pro Bowl
side
games,
things.
like the
Yeah, no, those
yeah,
were
the little
good.
quarterback challenges, like back in the day where they had the QB challenge.
Yeah,
That wasn't even
She
part
could
of the
throw it the farthest. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah
Hmm.
things like that. Those little games there are cool.
I'm cool with those.
That's
Hmm.
I'm not mad at you
But
trying that,
just eliminate the
but
game
the
itself.
actual
Yeah.
Pro Bowl game is
Yeah.
just yeah. Pro Bowl, I don't even know if that should even be an accolade anymore. Like because or you
Yeah,
could just
valid
say,
point.
or you could just be like, you know what? There is a Pro Bowl. We can just vote for a Pro Bowl player, but there's no game for it. It's just these people
Yeah. Yeah.
made the All Pro team,
Yeah,
and just
Right.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
I hate to put it in that run, but that's where they're heading to with me. It's just like it's just you might as well just start hanging it up now. It's not even worth the watch.
yeah, yeah. Well, now let me ask you this: if let's say the NFL brought back, the hitting, the Pro Bowl, how it used to be, and all of that. Let's say they did that and added, let's say they added some fun stuff where if you kick a 55 yard field goal, it's worth 4 points. If you throw a 60-yard pass, it's worth a little bit more points. Just for shits and giggles, right? For
hmm
fun. Would that work? I've thought about that. If you just bring back the regular um, playing of the game with the pads, all of that, the whole nine, hitting, all of that, but just add some googly, a little bit of googly, like I said, with some of the point things. Would that work? Would that get people engaged?
It'd be much. I think it'd probably be a little bit better than where it's at
Yeah.
now
I think it
because
would. Yeah. Go ahead.
people want to see. Come on, man. When people watch football, you want to see football be played.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. You want to see football be played. I want to see somebody get tackled, some hits. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. I understand that you don't want nobody to get hurt, but this is the sport. Like it.
yeah,
This is what
Hmm.
it comes with, and I think people want to see. They want to see those hits again. They want to see players play.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
see y'all not play. It's like it's not even worth it. If y'all ain't gonna play, y'all
well,
just
No,
playing
and
around. It ain't worth it.
I think Peyton Manning when he was still with the Colts, he put
And think
Gary's
Carey,
recorded.
yeah,
Yeah, we
we
lost
lost.
Gary.
There we
He's
go.
back.
He's back.
Yeah.
there. Sorry, I had an alarm go off. I think when Peyton Manning was with the Colts, he was talking one time about some controversy that his kicker had done, when they had Vanderjacked and stuff.
Hmm
But he put into proper context exactly what was happening. He said something to the effects of, I just in this game threw a touchdown pass to Jerry Rice, who was with the Raiders at
At the
the
time.
time.
Yep.
He said, and that was a big deal for him.
hmm
He and I could see how that would be a big deal if I was a quarterback. If I
You
got to
threw
play
to the best wide
got to
receiver in
play with
NFL
one
history.
exactly,
Yeah.
and if the players, kind of thought about stuff like that, and even in baseball back in the day when there was no interleague play, that was the one chance you got to see how Randy Johnson would face off against a Larry
Walker.
Walker
Yep.
Yep.
or anybody,
Yep.
before Larry Walker went to the Diamondbacks, but you know it was those dream matchups that you never really thought you would see before until you saw him in a Pro Bowl or something, And I know John Elway, after every Super Bowl that he lost in the 80s, he still put on the pads and he usually had a really good game in the Pro Bowl because, he didn't like going out the way he did. in the Super Bowls and stuff. He wanted
Passion.
his last game of the
Mm-hmm.
season, to end on a good note.
Yeah.
And everybody but one team loses this, their last game of the season. So, why wouldn't you want to do that as well,
Yeah.
So play hard,
Hmm. Yep.
And if you're doing that, then the fans are going to remember that and they're going to have something,
Hmm.
for their memory banks, later down the road. And
Yeah.
that it's still about the fans,
At the end
and
of the
the
day,
players need to remember that,
Yeah.
we're the ones that are making them millionaires
I
and
mean,
all that.
I was just about to say, if it wasn't for the fans, y'all are not getting paid what y'all getting paid.
Exactly.
No.
Yep.
In
Uh,
the story, there
yeah.
is no TV deals or nothing like that if it wasn't for the fan base.
Yeah.
If we
Hmm.
don't watch, y'all don't get paid because if we're not
Exactly.
watching, there's no ratings. If there's no ratings, there's no money. If
Yeah.
there ain't no
Yeah.
money, y'all ain't
Yeah.
gonna get paid.
Well, and also like these players have to remember when they don't want to do like the interviews or when they, yeah, I know it's part of they have to or they get fined and all of that, but
Right.
a lot of these players, I think there's like um arrogant and they're like their egos is like they're too good to do so many things. And I think that's why I like Steph Curry because he's like, I'll do movies, I'll host this, I'll do this, and
Hmm.
he's he's not he never gives himself like a person that he's bigger than the game, right?
Yeah.
He appreciates the
Sure.
game, and without the game, he wouldn't be who he is. But he also appreciates the fans because he understands without the fans, he wouldn't be who he is,
That's a
right?
fact.
And I think there was so many we have to think about when we think about the NBA, right? Like when Walt Frazier was in the NBA, you didn't really see commercials with NBA players, right? And even in the NFL, it was. I mean, you had Mean Joe Green that was in. I think wasn't that a Coke?
Mm-hmm.
It was a Coke
Yeah.
commercial.
Yep.
You
Hmm.
had O.J. Simpson. He was in a Hertz car
Yeah. He
rental
was in
Yep.
that.
commercial. But you really weren't. You really didn't see athletes being in commercials, and you kind of took a different lane. It kind of took off more in the '80s,
Oh
and
yeah.
with Jordan and Sprite and the Jordan shoe
Mm-hmm.
and Charles
Hmm.
Barkley and
Magic
the
and
Magic,
Bird.
yeah, and
Hmm.
Bird,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that was so fun. That was
Yeah.
that was such a fun because they had so much respect for each other. But if
Yeah.
Hmm.
from the outside back then, you thought they really hated each other, but the reality is they loved each other and they appreciated each other and they pushed each other and they had so much respect for each other. Um, and but you look at that and kind of the athlete was kind of more on the forefront in terms of commercials, and it was like such a positive thing and it was so fun and it was like and it all translated to on the court. And so kids like me being a kid, I love those commercials. I love to see like
Yeah.
Bo Jackson and all these people doing these commercials. It was so fun to me. I think it was Bo Jackson had the Wheaties commercial. I
Yep.
didn't eat
Yeah.
Wheaties, but I like
Well, the Bo Nose commercials.
commercial. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Those are the
nose.
best.
Bo
Yeah.
knows baseball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. You don't know diddly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Bo Jackson, let me tell this story of this. I don't know if y'all have seen this interview. He was on a podcast. I can't remember what podcast it was, and they asked him what was his most memorable moment playing for the Royals, and he talks about the the best thing that for him that he did. One of the most memorable things he did was when he got thrown out in the beginning of the game, and it was he had just had his first child, and he said he got he it was a strike right down the middle, perfect ball, and he starts yelling at the ump. You don't know what you're talking about. All of that. He just starts yelling at the ump, and the ump goes, "You're out of here," And he goes, "I went and took a shower. I went and stopped at Popeye's Chicken, and I went straight to the hospital." Like, and I just thought that was the coolest story. Like purposely got himself thrown out so he could go
Yep.
to the
So he can
hospital
go
and
home,
be with his wife
go
and
see
keep,
his baby.
I never heard
but
that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I just thought that was like the coolest thing. Um, but yeah, like uh, just growing up, I just felt like the relationship with the fans and the players was better because we didn't have all the social media and stuff. We just had a
Yeah,
TV with not
Hmm.
even half the channels that we got today,
that's a
and
fact.
Yeah.
I looked. I mean, the commercials were so entertaining. They were so engaging, and they weren't speaking to me directly. They were speaking to all the kids or all the fans, but I felt like they were talking to me directly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt like it made me feel good, and I was such a fan of so many different players and so many, and even like with Wayne
Mhm.
Gretzky. Like I
Yeah.
he made you like hockey, like all of
Hmm.
that. So I feel like that's kind of a lost thing, and maybe it's because the oversaturation of uh, sources to see the different players. Maybe it's because of the TikToks and the Facebooks and the X, and
Well, they all got a podcast.
and
Yeah.
they all have a podcast now.
The access to players now is so wide, so
Yeah,
many ways that you can get access to
Hmm.
them.
yeah,
That yeah, some of that I could see why some of that could be like
Well, and some
nowadays
of it,
lost.
yeah, bad.
yeah,
Hmm.
You know, John Morant keeps getting suspended because of his social media.
yeah, yeah, and it's also created these feuds that they're not even they're not even like really authentic, right? It's y'all are like it's not even based on competition on the court. It's based on what he said on his podcast, and I
Yeah.
hate that. I hate that these players are like looking at each other's podcasts and like he said what on his podcast and on the give me the court on the court or on the
Yeah.
field. That's what you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah.
um, I did appreciate the back and forth with Micah Parsons and Garrett and and that was cool because that was like an in person thing down the you know what I mean. But in terms of the feuds now, it's just all based on social media beef. It's not even like court stuff. Like we like the Jordan rules was on court stuff, right? Like Bill
Yeah.
Laimbeer was like, no, like I'm right now. I don't like Jordan, and it like I don't want him coming in here, and I'm gonna make him feel it if he does come in here. Like or the Robert Parrish, when the Bulls would play the Celtics and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it was about what was on the court. Like them feuds were court feuds, and I love
Yeah.
that. Right?
Sure.
Because that's legit. But when y'all are beefing on podcasts and stuff, I don't know. It's corny to me.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different type of it's cornball level stuff to me too.
Yeah.
Man, I will say
It,
one thing. Going back to like you've seen a lot of stuff on court. Just kind of mentioning that rivalries. Like
Yeah.
when you were thinking about rivalries in the NBA, you had legit or legit rivalries. Like when you seen the Bulls play the Knicks, you knew
yeah.
that was a rivalry. Everybody showed up to that game. Everybody wanted to see that game, and they were just authentic rivalries. Nowadays, I don't know if y'all ever noticed it, but they be trying to push this whole rivalry week with the NBA. And I'm like, what rivalry? Like, where is it? Like, I don't see a rivalry in the NBA. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even think
Yeah.
the Celtics and Lakers, the way it feels now, is a rivalry. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It doesn't even feel like what it would have been back in the day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you would have think that like it was back in a LeBron Kobe Christmas Day. That's something people want to must see TV.
Yeah.
Now it's like where are authentic rivalries that were created
Well,
not just not something that was like how you say social media, they got these little weird beefs or whatever, but like an authentic rivalry on the court. But I think
Yeah.
that's then changed because of the way these players, most of them, have changed in their mindset. They are a lot more buddy buddy than they were. You know, and they might have been buddy buddy back in the day too. Like Charles Barkley and Jordan used to be good friends,
yeah.
but on the court, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we playing we gonna play a hard game together, and then we can go get drinks afterwards.
Yeah.
But but on court you felt the presence of a rivalry on the court. Football fields used to have that same type of you felt that rivalry. Stuff
Yeah.
that you feel in college basketball, college football, that you know that you college is there's no match when it comes to college sports rivalries versus the pro
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
College is deep rooted in tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
College basketball, you go to a
Oh.
Duke,
Oh yeah.
Duke, North Carolina, you know what that's about. That doesn't
Yeah.
even that goes beyond the players on the court. They're
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
products of the rivalry in general. You know what I'm saying? Like USC, how USC and what you call them used to be in football.
Oh, Notre Dame. Yeah.
Yeah, USC, Notre Dame's, your Michigan, Ohio State's,
Yeah.
Alabama,
Yeah.
Georgia. Those
Wow.
are rivalries that go beyond the players. You know what I'm saying? Those players just embody that rivalry.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In the pros now, especially nowadays, they don't have that same kind of passion. I don't think some of these players get that passion for their city that way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Because they don't
Because
know.
let
they're
They
like
don't
alone,
even know if they're gonna stay there though. Like people,
exactly.
the players don't really have. Very few players have commitments to one team, right? The Curry is stayed with Golden State, plans on staying with Golden State, ain't going nowhere. But that's few and far between. Like you
yeah,
just don't have that
that's true.
anymore. And
Hmm.
currently the media is trying to create a rivalry. They're trying to create this Oklahoma City Thunder and San Antonio Spurs rivalry.
Yeah.
They're trying to cook it up.
And that's the problem. I think the media is trying to do too much. It's not
Yeah.
organic. It doesn't
Yeah,
feel organic in what they're
Right.
trying to do. It's just like we're just gonna push something. Like they can't like that's what I was saying. ESPN with the rivalry week about NBA rivalry week. I ain't never
Yeah.
heard of that in my whole entire life watching the NBA. What makes these games rivalry week? Like
yeah.
where is it?
What
You know, I
happened to
don't
make
even
it rivalry?
yeah, I don't even feel it. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
don't feel the rivalry there. It
Hmm.
doesn't feel like they even hate each other. Like
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. Like I remember the rivalries with Miami Heat and New York Knicks. Man,
yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
you know,
boy, the
like that was
brawls.
yeah,
They
that
came to
was
blows in their rivalries.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that was a thing, but yeah, no, they don't have it because the players move around so much, and it's the business aspect has taken over to another level, and I get it. It's part of it. Anytime you have anything grow to the level of what not only the NBA but the NFL as well, to the level that they've grown to, you're gonna get that. That's part of when you get a product that becomes $1 billion industry like that over and over and over again. You have and you have salary caps, right? And so like look at the Seattle Seahawks right now. They got a young team that just won a Super Bowl. Uh, you know, and they have the money, they have money, but now it's like, okay, well, this team is not going to stay together, right? And you have players that are like, you know what, just won a Super Bowl. I was on one of the best O lines or best D lines. I'm worth this is, and
Hmm.
hmm
if I don't care if this team can win another Super Bowl, I want to go to where whoever's going to pay me this, right? And so they'll
Yeah.
leave to uh to possibly not win another Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Hmm.
crazy to me. Like um, and hey, get your money how you get your money. I get it. It's you got to do what you got to do for you, but maybe it's because I grew up in a different era. Like when I saw players stay with one team their whole career. I mean, granted, we know like oh yeah, Pippen left and where'd he go? Portland, right? Um,
Hmm.
Houston
Houston
he
too.
then
went to
Man.
Portland.
Houston as
Hmm.
well. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I get it. The circumstances for that were a little bit different. Um, but for me, like if I'm just coming off of a Super Bowl and this team has the chance to repeat, I'll take. Like, do I want a new contract? If my contract is up, yeah, but I'm not gonna go out here and ask you to pay more than where I can fit. Like, I want to stay with this team. That's my personality, right? That's
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think the union really allows for that though, man. You got to take that into consideration too. I
that's
I
fair.
don't think a I don't think a player could take less money to stay with the champion because the union would be like, "No, you've got to take the money or you're going to hurt all of us in the end."
That's true.
So
That's valid.
there's a I think there's a lot more than just, not the player being selfish and stuff. The unions have a lot to do with that, and I think, yeah, there's a lot more to it than just, and the agents are
That's yeah,
so powerful these days.
Yeah.
You see that a lot as well.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm glad you brought that up because um, that does give a different outlook and perspective. So yeah, I mean you got to take that into consideration, but it also does change the landscape a little bit too
Sure.
in terms of what we saw growing up. And look, maybe we just sound like the old heads that don't that don't want
We
to that don't want to accept the new the new things going on. But
maybe. Matter of
yeah,
fact, I probably am.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll wear that badge. You know what I'm
I
saying?
will.
But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would.
yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I tell
Because
you
I
one thing.
remember what it was like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sometimes, but some of that just made for good products, man. Like
It did. It did.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it got so popular.
Yeah.
matter of fact, I think they can still take less money. They can't. They don't have to take the full amount that they're given. But
Yeah. Well, and you see a lot like Brady kept all them teams together
hmm
with the Patriots. He used to give up a lot of money
Yeah.
yeah,
back in the day to make sure that some of the other players stayed on
Reconstruct
the
his
team.
deal. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so there's a lot of real, I guess, leader veteran players that can take that hit, and then the other players that might the other mid-level players that might leave, but were also a big reason that they won their championships. You know, they're able to get that money and stay
hmm
on the team because the Brady's and you know, um, hate to say LeBron, bring him into this too, but I think the Lakers could be a lot better than they are if LeBron took a pay cut because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
making 60 million a year, whatever, right now, and
Yeah.
he's only playing half the games.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to be said about that as well. But I think it's yeah. Once you get to a certain point, it's almost expected, or it's the only way you can win is if you're one of the bigger stars on the team and you do take that cut.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I I
And
don't.
that's how you get dynasties.
That's yeah. That's how you get dynasties. I
That's
don't
for
think
real.
I don't think we'll ever see where the NBA or the NFL doesn't have um like a they're always going to have a cap, right? Like
Hmm.
that's
Sure.
not going. It's not baseball. It's not soccer. They're just always going to have a cap, right? And that's just what it
Yeah.
is, right? And obviously we know like soccer and baseball are like some of the two highest paid sports, right? Um,
Hmm.
it, and that has a lot to do with no cap. I get the cap. I understand it. Totally understand it. but um, I miss I kind of miss a dynasty era. I don't think it's quite out of there with the NFL. I think the NBA we kind of saw maybe. I think we're seeing the dynasty era fizzle out. So here's the thing: at the end of last season, um, I felt like OKC was the next dynasty, right? But then, like as I kind of started to analyze some things and look at some things with the NBA, I'm like I don't know because it's for one it's hard to repeat. It's definitely
Yeah.
hard to three-peat, right? Like it's you know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
I mean to three-peat is and so kudos to the teams that have done it, right? But I just think that we're in an and I think we've come to the era now where and Adrian, me and you have talked about this, like the 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 whole stacking up on one team that fizzled out, it's gone. It's not gonna work no more, right? But I the reason I believe that the dynasty era in the NBA is gone is because I think um, all the talent, in a sense, has kind of leveled out. So, like the talent has leveled out. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have obviously teams better than other teams. Obviously, that's a thing, but that comes in to uh, who you stack with who and who's your coach and who that coach knowing how to utilize what he has on his team. I think for a lot of the players now, um, it's just it's just I bring the ego thing back up and the attitude thing back up. Here's an example, right? John Morant is very ego driven and his attitude clearly stinks, right? Like I mean, he's shown us that, right? And as talented as he is, it's going to be hard for him, in my opinion, to play with a lot of teams because of the kind of image he's kind of given himself. Player,
Hmm.
coaches, and other teammates may be a little bit standoffish until he shows something, and he strikes me as a kind of person that no, you're gonna respect me before I show you, versus let me show you why you should respect me, right?
Yeah.
And so where I'm going with that is that there's so many players in here in the league right now that we don't know on this level, but they're as talented or as good as the players that we do know on this level. They just haven't found the right fit yet. But with so many interchanging of players in today's NBA, I think it's hard to create a dynasty because all it takes is one piece for this team. Like we look at the San Antonio Spurs, and I mentioned earlier about them trying to create a rivalry between OKC and San Antonio Spurs. But when we look at what the Spurs are doing with a healthy Wimby and the pieces that they've added, the young players that they have, well, that one piece that they were missing now gives they can possibly be in the playoffs, and they're going to give a lot of teams fits, right? And they could possibly knock off, like let's just hypothetically say they played OKC in the first round or the second round of the second round of the playoffs, right? And they
Mm.
Hmm.
clearly have the potential to knock them off like they do. We've seen it, right? Not saying they will, but I just think the dynasty era is over because of so much of the interchanging today that it only takes a team just to have one more piece and then they now have become this championship run team.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I think the if anybody's going to do it, it's the Warrior. It's the Thunder. Um, because I mean, they've got SGA, they've got a good core of players, and
Yeah,
they look
Lou
like
Dort,
they
Williamson.
they
Yeah.
look like they really liked to play with each other, you know, because who would have thought that the Warriors before they ran before they went on the run they did
Yeah.
before, you know, who would have ever thought that a team with Clayton Thompson, with Steph Curry and Draymond Green would do what they did for, you know, 5 years.
That's true.
Um, you know, and in the NFL, you know, even look at, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, what they did for five, almost 10 years was pretty historic, you know.
Yeah.
And there's, I think it's, if anybody could do it right now, it would be the Thunder because of how young their team is and just how loose they are. I think that's the big key
That's
right
fair.
there
Yeah.
is how loose they are and stuff. Maybe they could do something, but yeah, um,
I
you
will say,
just go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, yeah, you just really never can predict it. And that's why, you know, with Will, you know, it's hard to see it actually happening anymore
Yeah.
because when it happens, you never saw it coming.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
I
You
mean,
got a
you know,
super valid point.
I think it's always, I think it's been the same ever since. Like, it's still the same as it's always been. Like, you didn't expect a lot of teams to kind of just run off three championships in a row, or like some teams you never even expected them to do things like that. Like with the talent that was back in the Western Conference back in the day, with like the Lakers when they had Shaq and Kobe, yeah, you knew they
Hmm.
were they were a
Yeah.
formidable. You knew they were bona fide teams. But then you look at a team like Portland or Sacramento Kings that was pushing them to the limit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's true.
Oh, Kings,
or
absolutely.
your Timberwolves or anything like that. It was just like those teams were literally like one shot away from being, going to the finals and stopping the dynasty runs. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Sure.
it's I don't know if it's really over with. We just ain't gonna. I mean, it's probably gonna be a while before we do see one of those same things like that. But like OKC they are currently, because they're the current champs. You know, they win one more. You talking about a two? You know what I'm saying? A
Back to back.
two peat, back
Yeah.
to
And
back
the way they
championship.
started this year.
And that nowadays might be considered where their dynasty run could start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, or you look at, they lost, but when we looked at the Nuggets before they
Hmm.
started getting injuries, we were
Yeah.
thinking, oh, here comes the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to beat the Nuggets?
Yeah.
It
That's
is
true.
it is, but we've always had that type of, that those teams that win a championship, they come in the next year being the favorite.
Yeah.
The next
Hmm.
year ain't as easy as it was. It's never easy to win two or
Yeah.
three off and stuff like that. When we looked at Boston, Boston won a championship. Then we were like, okay, they won. Can they do it again? They come back the next year. You still thinking Boston might be able to do it. They end up getting knocked out in the playoffs. It's like I love the parity of the league with that, because
Yeah.
you never can tell. But I see your point. Like, if you're really gonna make the point that dynasty era is over, I think that's a valid point. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It might not be over. Um, it just might change as far as how
Yeah.
you're gonna look at it. Instead of looking at a team winning 2 to 3 in a row, you might see this team just be there 2, 3 years in a row. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? They
Yeah.
might win
Mm.
one out of
Yeah.
two. They
Okay.
might win two out of three championships. They might win something like that. But you might still
Sure.
see this team continuously show up in the finals. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
would
and
you
I think,
would you consider
yeah,
that a dynasty?
yeah,
If they can win 2 out of 3, yeah, I could see it being on like a dynasty run. But that might be the way it's moving towards now. Because if you're looking at it, you're like, okay, see, okay, they might get knocked off by San Antonio, but the playoffs is a different thing. You know what I'm
hmm,
saying? You never know. Okay, see, San Antonio's had a number in the regular season so far, but when they healthy again, we don't know what we're gonna see. Then you got a
yeah,
lot of up and coming teams. I mean, I love the parity of the league right now where it's at, and I
yeah,
love how teams cannot buy their way into
yeah,
anything. If you're looking at most of the top teams in the NBA right now, a lot of them aren't bought. You know what I'm saying? They're
yeah,
built. Like this,
Hmm.
Yeah.
the
I do like that.
Like
without
the Thunder.
without Tatum, you're looking at Boston, and
Yeah.
Boston they got pieces from trades and stuff like that, but their core that what they've had, they've kind of built it over the
Built it.
years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they lost a lot of players from the years prior and stuff like that. Some of
Sure.
them are no longer there, but you're still building around your Tatum, your Jalen Brown. You're still
Hmm.
building around like your Derek Whites of the world, the role players that they do have.
Yeah.
They might have swapped out some role players, got some more role players in there for their two main stars. The way they're building teams are a lot different. It's not superstar driven. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It
Yeah.
ain't, I went out and got the best player. Now I'm playing with the best three players in the league right now. It's none of that there. If you look at OKC, they're built from the ground up. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Got a
Hmm.
trade. Y'all made y'all stuff through the draft and all this other stuff. Now y'all done built up
Yeah.
a powerhouse. The
Yeah.
Nuggets, same thing. They built up
Yeah.
a powerhouse. If you're just going
Hmm.
down the line, San Antonio, they're building a powerhouse. It's around one person, but they're not breaking the bank in order to
Yeah.
try to win something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what, or if you're looking at what the Rockets did in the offseason,
Yeah.
that was a perfect situation for them.
Yeah.
They had the opportunity to get
KD. Yeah.
KD
Hmm.
with minimal losses. That's
Right.
perfect right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't gutting your team to do it. So now I think the team building aspect is what's kind of ruling the league right now.
Yeah.
And instead of just trying to get all stars, you got to have those core pieces. And that's
Well,
always a
yeah.
formula for success.
And I think that's the cool thing because we've been hitting the NBA pretty hard today. They've taken a bunch of shots on the chin today, but the one
Yeah.
thing you have to give it to them is the fact that there's more parity and there's more teams that have a shot.
Yeah.
Because all those great years that we talked about with the Jordans and the Johnsons and the Birds and stuff like that, for 30 years, only 10 different teams won NBA championships.
Yeah.
For 40 years. And I lived for over 50 years before I saw my Nuggets ever win a title.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's so many fans like that, where maybe the only thing you had to look forward to was an all-star game
Game.
because
Yeah.
you never felt like you had a shot at winning a title. And now, because there's more parity and because the the teams can build from the ground up and they don't have to get the superstar and they don't have to hope that LeBron James chooses them, and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And the players aren't trying to build these super teams anymore, which was exhausting,
Yeah.
and I'm
It
so glad they're
was.
not doing that
It
anymore.
was.
Then yeah, good. That's one of the good things about the NBA right now
Hmm.
is it feels like more teams have a shot,
Well, I
which
will.
did
I will say the NFL, since you've seen what happened this year has probably
yeah.
been the most parity in the NFL I've seen in a while. Like it wasn't. It
Hmm.
started out, of course, everybody's on Kansas City,
Yep.
everybody was on Philadelphia, but
Hmm.
then as the season progressed, you've seen what it ended up turning to. Neither one of those teams made
Right.
noise in the playoffs.
Yeah.
One didn't
Right.
even make the playoffs. You see what I'm
Didn't even
saying?
make it.
Matter of fact, three of the AFC's juggernauts.
Didn't make it.
Yeah. Who would
You
have
know what I'm
thought that
saying?
the Patriots would have gone to the Super Bowl and,
Yeah.
So
and lost to the
Yeah.
Seahawks?
yeah, so it's
Agreed.
just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was great for the league as far as you want to see something different. And I think that's one thing that people are gravitating to now is like
Yeah.
you want to see the difference. You want to see those teams that you didn't even expect to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to see something new. Me and Big Will talked about it last year when we watched OKC and the Indiana Pacers in the playoffs in the
Hmm.
Loved it.
championship game. It was just like it was great basketball. Like
Yeah.
it
Oh,
got
Loved it.
back to it got back to gritty NBA hard play,
well,
hard nosed
yeah.
basketball, and those hard nosed teams were the ones that actually made it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well, even
saying?
the
And it's just like,
Sixers or the Celtics and the Pacers, some of the games
yeah,
they had in the
Oh,
playoffs
good
were so
games.
amazing.
Yeah.
and Halliburton and Burton or the
The
Brunson.
Celtics and Knicks. Celtics and
Yeah,
Knicks. I
the
mean the Pacers
Knicks,
and Knicks.
the
Sorry,
the, the
Pacers and
Pacers
Celtics
Knicks.
and Knicks.
and the
Yeah,
Celtics and the Knicks. That
Celtics
was
and Knicks,
just
Pacers and Knicks.
Knicks.
They were
Yeah,
just
even
nail
the
Eastern
biters.
Knicks,
Conference playoffs are
even the
fun
Knicks
last year. Yeah.
Detroit series, the Knicks and
Yeah,
Detroit series, that was a great series.
great
Um,
series. Great
Yeah.
I mean,
series.
you got to think the Pistons. Now think about this: the Pistons were a call away from possibly winning or having a chance of winning
Going to
that
the
series.
hmm
yep,
You know,
yep.
so
Oh, and they're playing like they're going to do it this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
I mean, but you're just looking at it. It's just like it's great to see.
Mhm.
Pistons is another team I kind of under the
Yeah,
radar.
yeah.
They built from the draft. They didn't struggle for years, and now you see where they're back to returning to
hmm
those strong teams again. And it's just like it's so much, and that makes sports so great to watch. Just the
Yeah,
parity of the league. That's when we go back to the NIL deals in college football. It's done made
Yeah.
just the talent gets more widespread. Nobody would have thought Indiana would have been in any NCAA championship game. You
no,
wouldn't
Let
even
alone put being one of the most dominant teams in
exactly.
college football
That was
history.
yeah,
Yeah.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, before last year and this year. So I would say three
hmm
years ago. You weren't thinking about Indiana
the
football.
the
That was not even a
losingest
thought.
the losingest college football team in the history of college football.
See, no, but that would never have happened if the transfer portal wasn't what it is now.
Oh yeah, and
And players can
NIL.
go NIL. It's a great thing to see. Just changes. I mean, if you really want to, that's what makes watching college basketball, watching March Madness
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
fun. Is
yeah,
watching all the teams that you would have never even thought make it the
yeah,
Cinderella stories and all these other little that makes March Madness still to this day for me the best overall playoff to watch
oh
is
sure,
March
sure.
Madness. It's so wild. So many teams get an opportunity. It is just so wild and wacky. You never know what it's going to be like.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
And it's
Well, there's
just so
16
great.
seeds winning over one seeds now,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's so much happening. Yeah,
You just like
I love it.
it's like every single game you're glued to watching. I could sit here all day long and flip through March Madness games all day and just be like, bro, doing brackets and all that stuff. It's
Oh yeah,
nothing. There is no comparison.
yeah,
But it's the parody of March Madness that causes that drama. Like
hmm
you get
hmm
to see things that you would have never thought you would see. College football never would have had that if it wasn't for the college football
yeah,
playoffs now.
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and I think they're starting to catch that with including more teams into the
Yeah.
playoffs
yeah,
and also just yeah, the that team that has traditionally never been dominant or even been in the conversation
Hmm.
with a few good signings can all of a sudden, put their name into the hat. Yeah.
yeah,
It's just
The
dope, man.
Indianas and it's
It's
fun,
just great watch. It's just great to
Yeah.
watch. You
yeah,
Yeah.
can't do
Yeah.
nothing. It's just like
No.
anytime you
Yeah.
see two underdogs or anything that you didn't expect. When it comes to sports, we know underdogs are kind of like one of the biggest things in sports, bro. Like everybody almost loves an underdog story. You want to
Sure.
see that.
They
right.
make
You just
movies about that. Heck yeah.
exactly. You just kind of waiting for that, and I'm loving. That's why I'm loving the way that things are going. Like in the NBA, you don't know who's
hmm
going to turn out. I'm just waiting for the playoffs because regular season still can be boring, but at the end of the day,
It's
it's just
long season. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like even watching hockey or anything like that. You are living for the playoff moments because
Sure.
those are timeless moments. You
Yeah,
see a
Yeah.
couple of them during the regular season, you're like, "Oh, that was a dope game." You might catch a couple of games and be like, "That was great basketball. That was great.
Mhm.
A great game of hockey, a great game of baseball, football. You love it." Football is probably the only one that actually carries that all the way through the whole entire year
Oh, the
because
whole
people
season.
just
Yeah.
love
yeah.
football
Well,
and it's
yeah,
16 games and just madness.
A few
People just like
games. Yeah. Mhm.
but
yeah,
like with baseball and stuff, you live for those playoff moments. Those playoff moments end up being the most
hmm
timeless moments you can ever
Sure.
ever see. And
Yeah.
everybody once you see those big games happen, or if a player make a big game or have one of those epic historic games, it's cemented forever. Like when we talk about Jordan, we talk about his 63-point game in the playoffs. It was they got swept that series, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they lost the game that he
you know what
scored
I'm saying?
63 points.
Yeah.
People still talk about that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you didn't see that
They
no
talk
more.
about the
They got
63
swept.
points more than the loss.
Exactly. So it's just like, bro, this the playoffs is just something different, and I think playoff sports is amazing.
Well, speaking of that, with I think we got to give a little bit more credit to to Charles Barkley, uh, because that run that they had with Phoenix, and that what he was able to do in Phoenix with Dan Marley and Johnson, and that
Mm-hmm.
was a really, really, really good team.
Oh
And
yeah, they
if
were.
you don't have the Chicago Bulls in
Yeah.
there, they
Yeah.
probably win.
Hmm.
They get at least one.
Yeah.
They
Oh
get
yeah,
Yeah.
at
yeah.
least
I
one.
I would see that. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Barkley
They
would have had one if it wasn't for Jordan.
Well, Tom Chambers was on that team.
Yes, he
People
was. I
forget how
forget.
good he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Tom
had a solid
Chambers. Yeah.
roster from
They
top
had
to
a
bottom.
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
they
top to
they
bottom.
they definitely would have one, if not
Yeah.
for Chicago.
Well,
Um,
and there's a lot of
Well, it's
what
like
ifs when
just
it
like
comes to
just like
Chicago.
just like Barkley said. He said he didn't think there was a better player in the world than him until he played in that finals game. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan just would not let him. Jordan just would not let it go. And he
and
was like, that was when he knew there was somebody better than him in the whole entire
and he
world.
Well, and that was the year that they gave Barkley the MVP too,
Yep.
and I
yeah,
think that pissed
that
Jordan off
pissed
more than
Jordan off
anything.
bad. That pissed Jordan off bad. And so yeah, I mean, you think about the Chicago Bulls in the '90s, and think about how many people would have a championship.
Yeah,
Carmelo,
right.
you know,
Yeah, Karl Malone would have
Barkley,
had one.
Yeah,
uh,
Sean Kemp
Sean Kemp,
when the
and
Seattle
Gary
Yep.
Payton.
Supersonics.
They could have
Hmm.
had one. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Like so, when you think about that, you put that in perspective.
Well, let's think about the Trailblazers
Yep.
with
The
Clyde
Blazers could have
Drexler
Drexler,
won
and
yep,
Drexler. You could
hmm
have
yep,
got one there. What
yeah,
you call him? Magic would have had a six ring.
yeah,
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 yeah. Because that was when it all started for
yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was
MJ.
the year that started
Hmm.
it right there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's NBA has overall has been a fun product, and I know I have a lot of complaints
Sure.
of recent times, but Adrian, I appreciate you bringing up the parity of now and the teams being built, because sometimes what happens is we look at the things that upset us and we never
Yeah.
focus on the positive parts, right, or the good things, and so we get this tunnel vision, and we're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this is upsetting me, this is why I'm mad. And then
Yeah.
it's good. It's good for somebody else to bring up. And Gary, I appreciate you saying, hey, the NBA has been a punching bag, but look at this, right?
Yeah, right.
And because there's so many other ways to look at positive things about it. So I appreciate y'all for that.
Yeah. Well,
Oh
that's why
yeah.
we're still fans, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
still fans at the end of the day.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
we get on here and we definitely have our gripes about it. It's not the same game, not the same product as it used to be. We the old heads, you know what I'm saying? So we
Right.
do relive the
We're,
old
we the people
relive
we
the
used to
old
complain
days.
about.
yeah,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah, we the old heads, but at the end of the day, I will say it's still a good product. It's not the same product, so we definitely have to watch it a certain type of way. I mean, I'm still not over the way every team plays the same,
Yeah.
but I will
Yeah.
say what doesn't get lost is playoff atmosphere. Like that just takes it a different way. Like whoever thought that we would be so in tune to watching playing games?
yeah,
I
Oh,
didn't
sure.
even
yeah.
like the
Actually,
idea of playing games.
but I actually appreciate them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
when you watching it, and they've been some of the most competitive games you've seen all season.
Yeah.
Like, even though the stats don't count for nothing, so it's just kind of like, well, there it is. They're just it's empty stats, but it's
Well,
like,
and that's something that baseball's been doing forever. Because in baseball, they used to always do that, where if a team tied at the end of the season, they played each other for one last game. There were 163 games on the
Games. Yeah.
schedule. So
oh, they did.
why did
They
it take
did.
so long?
Right.
I
Right.
know
Right.
for
It took
everybody else to come around.
it took COVID for what you call for basketball.
Right?
Basically, it
Yeah.
started that during the what you
Yeah.
call it, the lot that
Yeah,
what you call it,
the
the bubble.
the
So it took
bubble
that for
Bubble.
them to come up
season.
with some kind of idea to trying to fix it and trying to get
Hey,
teams in. So
sure.
it ended up being an accidental good for for
Yeah,
the league, and that's
sure.
one of those accidental things. Even the cup isn't bad. Like the in season tournament, I still think it's kind of corny, but it's still made up for some good games sometimes when you watch it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Well, and
you
because the
know,
players took it serious, I
yeah,
think.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what, and it goes back to the very beginning argument
Yeah.
of all the
Right.
All Star
Goes all the
stuff.
way back to the
It
beginning of
goes to
this conversation.
competition.
Yep.
People love
Uh-huh.
to see competition. When y'all are playing like you want to, you're putting on a good brand. When
Yeah.
you just
And
out there
we enjoy
BSing it
that.
around, nobody wants to see that.
Right.
Nobody wants to see
No.
that.
Right.
And
We
and please never in your lifetime go on national TV on Christmas and give me some BS games.
Oh no.
Not on Christmas Day.
Not on Christmas Day. Not on
Not on
Christmas
Nope.
Day.
Christmas Day.
Nope. 'Cause I got better things to be doing that day.
Exactly.
Right.
I will turn you off in a heartbeat and keep on moving.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. Well, man, as always, I appreciate y'all every week joining me, talking sports with me. It's
Yeah. This is fun.
it's fun. Yeah,
Always fun.
much
Always
needed. I
fun.
love it. Gary, man, I'm glad I'm glad to have you back, man.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Thanks for moving stuff around
Yeah. Yeah.
because I really enjoy this,
Right.
gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, most definitely.
yeah. Thank you for everybody checking out the show. And again, like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all. And y'all have a good rest of y'all's weekend, man. So
Yeah. Happy
Yes,
President's
sir.
Day.
happy President.
That is up. That is coming up. Ain't it Monday?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
There it is. There it
There
is.
you go.
All right,
Bingo.
y'all. Yeah, y'all have a good one.
All
You
right.
too, buddy. All right.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care. Will.
Bye.
Peace.